Hello everyone, Ronelia here for Kitaholic Kits, doing my third project with the May kit, and I'm doing a traveller's notebook layout today. So I've cut down my papers already and I'm going to eventually just stick them into the traveller's notebook. It's the pocket page notebook, so one of those will be slipping into the pocket, the other one will just be stuck in. I am going to do a stamped background using the stamp set that we got in the mixed media kit, and I've chosen these two colors because they are, one of them is a bit darker, so that one there is a bit darker, and then there's the beautiful light tattered rose, I think it's called the Distress Oxide, which matched the paper on the other side really well. So I'm going to just have a few little bits where it's the darker pink, and then mostly I'm going to use the lighter pink. I'm going to cut out a fair bit of this because I actually didn't realize I wasn't on the screen for a lot of it. So you'd miss the bottom part. But essentially I'm just putting it randomly. There's really no rhyme or reason. I'm just trying to find a piece that would fit, and that's how it looks. So then I wanted to bring that darker ink into the opposing page because I thought that the opposite page looked a bit not as bright. So I'm going to do some ink blending just in the center of those flowers, just to add that brighter pink color and carry it across from the other side. I'm going to use that die cut to do my journaling, and I've decided that this is the page that I'm going to use those beautiful floral vellum golden pieces, which I loved. I am documenting this photo of my daughter and I, and I'm just cutting it a bit smaller because I thought it was a little bit big, and I am going to round the corners. This is my only corner rounder, is just this envelope punch, so I use that to round all my corners. I did feel like that photo needed some matting, but I also wanted to bring that color into it, so I used this scrap piece of paper, which was from the kit, but it was just a small piece that I had left over from a cut off. And I'm going to stamp sort of around the outside with that darker pink again. And then I'm going to map my photo on top of that. Now, you're not going to be able to tell in the end that they're flowers because the border is going to be so thin. But the white and a little bit of the grey and the colour is going to come through, and that's really what I wanted. Just to connect it visually in the mind's eye. I'm going to prop that photo up as well on just some chipboard essentially that came in something, I don't know, but I'm going to pop it up because I wanted to create even more of a distinction, more of a clear distinction between the photo and the background. So I'm just using glue, craft glue, to glue that chipboard on, and then I am going to stick it down and hopefully, yeah, so I'm going to stick it down and then that's all done. So it just creates that bit of a shadow which makes it stand out more. And I love the chipboard because it's not too thick either. I'm using that little heart die cut to say, love this, I guess. And the rest of it, this whole layout was pretty much all planned out from the beginning. So I'm not really guessing or wondering what I should do and shouldn't do. Although down the track, I do decide not to use both of those vellum ferns. I'm going to stick with just the one. But I am sticking down where I'm going to do my journaling. I put the vellum behind it, and then I'm going to put the glue underneath the label so that you can't see it through the vellum, because vellum is very see-through. Then I'm going to add the little fern. I'm going to stick that down. Kept popping back up, so I had to keep sticking it back down. I'm adding a little bit of vellum tape to secure that in place even more, just because I'm paranoid with these kinds of things. I don't need to be, it's ridiculous, but I am. I'm going to create two clusters at the top and the bottom. One of them is going to have that little flower, the watercolor flower that came in the die cut pack, and the other one's going to be one of those rainbows. Now, as you can see, as it's sitting there, I have got two focal points, right? So I am going to, so it's the initial where the journaling is, that's one focal point. Then your eye moves a little bit down to the right where the photo is, and so I'm creating a third little cluster to move your eye back over to the other side of the page. That's how my brain works. I don't know why, but I see it as being, that bottom part of the page was very empty and I wanted to fill it. I'm just using some glue, And I think for the first time ever, I didn't actually use any string or twine in that particular tag. And the reason being that I'm just lazy. I didn't know where to put that together, but I really did want to put it somewhere because I wanted to repeat that pink color 3 times. But I put it where I initially wanted to put it, which is right there. So you can see that that pink color has now been repeated in the triangle as well. Adding some sprinkly little enamel dots that came in the kit. And I'm sort of just, there's no real rhyme or reason where I'm adding these. I just thought somewhere around will be pretty, and I quite like how it's laid out in the end. I did feel that it needed a bit more contrast and a bit more black because it's a black and white photo. So I'm going to take a black pen and add little plus signs all over around where the enamel dot clusters are. I'm going to add little plus signs, and that just creates, that just brings in the black really, because I needed a bit more darkness because there's that dark navy little cluster. Oh, I'm putting that little heart down as well. There's that dark navy enamel dot, which is in 2 of the clusters, but I just wanted a little bit more darkness and contrast. So that little, I wanted to use a little heart, didn't know where I wanted to use it, fiddled around with it for a while, but in the end I'm just adding it to that cluster down the bottom and just cutting it off. Now this is one of those layouts where it was just a fun little story that I wanted to tell. And so it didn't have to be too huge, too big, and that's what I love the Traveler's Notebook size for. It's just like little stories that are nice and funny and cute, but it's also just not too serious and not like deserves an entire layout to itself, if that makes sense. That's where I'm going to add those little plus signs, and as you saw, I also added a little border. And then that layout is done, although I am going to add the date and some journaling, obviously, because I've got that giant journaling spot. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me for this layout, everyone. I will see you all again next time. Bye-bye.